We're unboxing this Antonov An-2 from Gator Rc and Maxford USA, the Anushka. All right, everybody, welcome. It's Brendan here at Just Plain Crazy. Thanks for joining me again yet for another episode. You got it. We are down in the lair today, and we are unboxing from Gator Rc. This is the Maxford USA Antonov An-2, otherwise known as the Anushka. This is a 50cc or power system equivalent biplane. Comes in two different versions, a really cool blue and then a red and a silver. We have the blue version here. We're going to unbox it. We're going to take a look at the quality of the build, the wood, the covering. I want to throw a EME 60 with auto start, just like my Zero from Gator. Check that link right there. But otherwise, we're going to be throwing in the Kingmax servos in this thing, also available from Gator. Maybe trick this thing out if possible with a nice four-blade prop. But otherwise, enough yapping. Let's get to unboxing. All right, guys, so right out of the gate, I noticed that we have a lot of bubble wrap around all the individual components. They use tape along the edges. I tried digging in here a little bit before for a manual for building. That is available online. You can print it off just as I did, so we can look at specs and some of the build process, see what other materials we will need. So I just printed mine off. It's only 13 pages, but 7 double-sided. So let's start digging into some of this stuff. I am going to use a razor blade. Let's be careful we don't cut things, but everything seems to be individually packaged, which is really nice on the inside, and then taped into place so it's not bouncing around. It's that bouncing around of components that breaks things. So again, we got some nice bubble wrap and then overlaid, kind of overlaid for more protection. Got some QC stickers on here, so maybe that's good. People are looking at things. This would be my first Maxford USA plane. They've been around for a very long time. It's not a new company. If you do some internet searches, they're out there. They actually have a listing for spare parts, so some would be available through Gator. And I guess if you have to go for other things, maybe you had an accident, need bigger parts, you can contact Gator for those. But potentially even just order them right off of the Maxford website, I guess. But I don't know what it'd take for them to come in. So what do I see here right out of the gate? Number one, beautiful baby blue covering. Beautiful baby blue. So we're dealing with Robart style hinges for the elevators, which is really nice. And I'm going to be picky. I'll be picky. I'll pick apart absolutely everything that I see. I'm not a good monocoat guy. There's a lot of things I think I can do well. Covering is not one of them. I'm impressed with what I see. And if you look at this covering, I see a lot of wood grain texture to it, which tells me they really got it down and pressed it into the wood to prevent wrinkles, which is what I like to do before I take it out anyway. I also noticed that there is, it looks to be like a very thin carbon plate right over that end wood right there for, I would assume, a little bit of extra protection. And then it looks like on the inside they use a little bit of vinyl to cover that over instead of trying to get the covering in against, get it to roll up and then not wrinkle in there, which is a nice touch. They got individual, so these are obviously our horizontal stabs. They're going to have individual, it looks like servo bays right next to those. So that's cool because now we're minimizing linkage and we don't have servos with a really long linkage attached to them. So I really like what I see here. The covering is actually well done. It's a plasticky style covering, but it looks good. Now, you'll also notice that I threw down this protective foam mat because we're dealing with such a really cool plane here. I don't want to damage or poke holes, and if you put any weight on that stuff and your bench got stuff on it, it'll poke through pretty easily. So to get it out of the way, what do you guys say we get right to the bread and butter? We'll get right to the fuse. My buddy Dave tells me, Brendan, just get on with it. It's like a striptease. So that's what we're doing. So we'll pull out, looks like we got some landing gear. Get this out of the way because it's in the way of the fuselage coming out. Nice. So we have some spring-loaded landing gear. We're gonna have some shock type landing gear. That's pretty cool looking. So we got, they almost look like patio door struts, something like that. So they're gonna take the Anushka's rough field capability serious with the landing gear, because this stuff is robust. I mean, the metal kind of looks like it's already pre-assembled for you, and this is very heavy duty. I can't really bend it at all. Got some nice eyelets there on the end, but those shocks look pretty serious. The tail wheel on here, let me show you that. Let me get up close to the camera. Hopefully you guys can see it. So you see the eyelets, the big jam nuts. That stuff is probably 1/4 inch rod. And you can see the way it's all eyelet on the end of there. And this is the tail wheel assembly. I don't know why I really like baby blue and kind of color. Orange is my favorite color, but I do really like the blues. So this is a perfect fit here down in the Just Plain Crazy layer. So it looks like we have, this feels like a aluminum, and it probably has an aluminum backer there to it, like a leaf spring setup on the tail wheel. If you put them together, they're very sturdy. By themselves, you got some flex to it, but if we leaf spring these, just like I anticipate doing, the holes seem to line up there for that. That's pretty stout. And then we got a little tiller arm and springs for the rudder. So as we do this, bear with me guys, as you'll probably see some pauses in the videos and stuff. I just want to snap pictures here as we go, so that way we can also post stuff on the Just Plain Crazy official Facebook page and people get to see it there. Break. All right, so that was that. Let's cut some tape. They do have this put in here really, really well. Fuselage coming out. Decals. And I'm pulling on this, and that tape, the way they have it packaged in there, guys, is really holding it in. So it's pretty secure. This is a big fat fuselage. Did he say big and fat? All right, fuselage is out. Cut some tape off, see what this bad boy looks like. Be very careful with the razor knife. Even if you drop it, when it lands places, it's bad. Oh, look at the big canopy here. So lots of bubble wrap. Lots of bubble wrap. All right, so what do you guys say? Let's pick this thing apart and see what we got. So we got a huge canopy. It's huge. It's huge. So I see pre-installed strings for, let's just move these out of the way. So we have some pre-installed strings here on the inside. We'll take you guys around so you can see all this stuff. Got a very large canopy, painted canopy. And there's a lot of different angles to this canopy. So they do make a crease cut here on the side. And I think the best way to see this, I'm going to pull you guys down. The covering, the white it's eye-catching, right? It gets your attention. Looks like they have a plate up here for the wing with some pretty robust, maybe 1/4 inch threaded bolts, Phillips bolts. They got some plastic in here for the windows. So if we got windows, we either need people or we need lights. That's just plain crazy way. But it looks like I got a small crack in the paint here in the canopy. A little bit of touch-up paint will cover that up. That's not a huge deal for me, not a big thing. And again, there's that little crease cut to get all of these angles, but it's glued on there really well. It seems really well attached, but it's big. So I think maybe we need some pilots or something up here in the front of this thing. We'll see, maybe there's something in there, I don't know. But again, the white on the side of the fuselage is very eye-catching. The covering is tight. It's like a drum. We're not right. Anyway, so we got some screws in the back. We'll see what those are for, maybe some flying wires, but the covering on the bottom is really well done. The covering on the sides is really well done. The blues look good. There's a lot of lines here. And this is covering, it's not paint. Yeah, looks good. I don't see a wrinkle or a mess in it. I have maybe, it looks like one tiny microscopic indentation where maybe there was something under the covering there. Again, if you're that picky, but let's take a look at the inside and see what we see. Everything is... Okay, so that slides out. Oh, it's a sliding firewall. That's cool. Let me get you guys down. I gotta show you what I'm seeing. So check it out, right? So this is for reference. That's the size of my hand. That's how big that canopy is. And they got all these little intricacies of these lines and squares. Here is the crease cut that they made so you can get all those compound curves. And this is that material all the way out to here. So the black is what the black is. It's a little bit duller in texture compared to the covering, but it looks nice. Maybe got a little bit of dirt in the paint right there. Not a big deal. Here's my small paint crack. Again, not the end of the world. And a small little mark underneath the dirt or piece of wood or something under the covering. But the white is very eye-catching. I love the colors. Reminds me of Cessnas. Cessnas a lot went with the white with these baby blue and dark blue kind of schemes. So it is very eye appealing. I like the white with these baby blue stabs and wings. That's going to look awesome. The windows, again, textured there with that plexiglass or whatever it is. Lexon, I guess, is the better word. So we'll get some lights or something in there. We got strings to fish your wiring through, which is awesome. And everything is laser cut ply here on the inside and locked together. I can see that they run some glue down there in the joints. So if you want to test quality of the builds, so what I've seen out of all the builds that I've ever done, if you want to know if there's quality issues, start pushing on formers and start to see where things don't want to stick together anymore, and you'll hear cracking as you push on them. So these are all of those plates, and as I push on them, I feel no movement. They're solid. And I'm pushing pretty hard and you don't hear any cracking. So it almost looks like a white glue, whatever they use there. But it's solid all the way across. Like something like that, you'll always get a little bit of movement in, but when you push against the grain on things, how does it look and feel? So I like the looks of what I'm seeing, especially here on that plate. It's pretty stout. But check this out, watch. So I hope you guys can see that. Look at the firewall box. So I'm assuming that we're going to use this in combination with standoffs, and I guess you can move this motor box wherever you want. And check this out. why don't we throw a servo in there that has a release rod, and then in flight you can just eject the whole engine package, right? No, we probably don't want to do that. So anyway, we'll probably epoxy that bad boy in there. We're going to seal off that firewall, but that's probably going to help us set depth pretty easily. That way you don't have to worry about standoffs. That's a pretty cool idea. Maybe they have a spec how far they want it out. I don't know. So thrust wise, it kind of looks like there's no spacing is the same here and here, right? And spacing looks the same all the way across. So engine seems to be center drilled. I don't think we have any accommodations built in for right or down thrust. So we might build that in with just a little bit of shims, or maybe shift the engine over to shim it just a little bit off center, because everything there looks pretty centered. So we'll look at that when we get to it, but definitely we want to seal off the wood here. It is not pre-sealed, okay? But really, really, really nice looking fuselage. Covering on it is exquisitely done. Much better than Just Plain Crazy is ever going to do. So let's go see what else we got in the box. All right, guys, that fuse is huge. It is monstrous. So now we got this whole tray of stuff, and that's what I mean about well packed. All right, look at that. So protected by cardboard and tape and bubble wrap. All right, so let's cut into this stuff and see what we got. Stuff comes a long way. You got to package it well. Nobody wants issues. You wait for a new plane, you're excited to get it. Nobody likes issues. Tissues for your issues. So biplane, right? So we're going to have a lot of wings here to put together. And as I cut, I'm cutting up and away. So for everybody cringing that I'm going to cut the wings apart, I hope not. Again, beautiful baby blue. My grandfather got me into this hobby. His favorite color to use on planes was baby blue. Maybe that's where I get it from, but I really like the baby blue color. It's gorgeous. All right, so let's take a look what we got here in wing panels. Super light. They weigh, again, tight as a drum. They weigh next to nothing, so we have screw holes already made for, and it's definitely ply material in there for our cabanes. The covering is just, it's really well done. Again, you can see wood grain there. They make this stuff tight. Whatever it is that they're using here, it's made to be tight. That looks really good. Let me flip these upside down. Now there is no ailerons on these panels here. So again, we'll see exactly what panels these are, but I guess these are going to be our bottom panels. Bottom panels is what it looks like. So one of the things that I can see here on this one, again, these are all really critical things, right? Because this is a new plane, very different from what we've seen out in the market. But again, we got a lot of, on that main wing rib there, a lot of ply, very reinforced, but not heavy. And you could see a brown mark right there on the covering, and I don't think that'll come out. It's small, but that comes when it gets hot and they really push the covering down into the wood. On certain coverings, I noticed that these planes we see from overseas, they'll get a little bit of, that's wood that actually bleeds through right there. Sometimes it's garbage on the top, but most of the time it's actually coming through from the underside, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Little things, they're not big. They're tiny, tiny issues. You know, if you want, a lot of people will put in comments, you know, if you want a perfect plane, quit being picky, build it yourself. The reason I pick this stuff apart for you guys is because you're investing money in a model. You want to see what the quality is. You want to know what you're getting. and kind of set the expectation. And, you know, the comment's not wrong, but I don't know that I could build a perfect plane myself. And if you're picky, then you're going to spend forever building a plane. And some people do that with really scale models, and then they don't fly. I like to put models together that are really nice looking, but then go fly them. And hopefully they fly as nice as they look. But I like to be critical. I like to show you the good things and the bad things. So this is a lot of cabane struts in here for the wings. Cut all this stuff open. So they look like a triangle. They are covered, which is really nice. Again, it looks like a carbon fiber insert in the inside of there with aluminum edging, so that these things will go down. You probably bend them. It looks like probably bend them into whatever angles you need. And there looks like some adjustment there. So I do like, though, that they're covered. They're not painted or anything else. So we have different shape ones. That one's got 4 compared to that one at 3. Very, very strong material, and again, whatever it's made out of. And they do have locking nuts on the aluminum pieces to prevent them from coming loose. It'd have been nice maybe they use a washer in there and a little bit longer of a screw, but they look good. Good quality. All right, let's see what else we got in the box. So if you guys watch the channel a lot, one of the things that you'll see is that I like a lot of different planes. I'm not just I like electric only, or I like gas only, or I like glow only, or I only like biplanes or aerobatic planes or slow flying planes. I like to fly a little bit of everything. That's what keeps the interest for me in this hobby. So the Anushka, this biplane, is not something you're going to see everywhere. Not everybody in the world has one. No other manufacturers make them. And if you're into a different looking airplane from the early, 19th century, mid-19th century, this is it. And these things were one of the longest produced planes in history. Yeah, very neat. I don't know what these are going to be for yet. Maybe wing joiners or something, but they look well covered. It's about all we're going to give you there. This is the Rada. Don't forget about your rudder. Long story. All right, cardboard for recycling. So let's just cut these right out. So I've seen these before. The Dancing Wings PT-17 Stearman had something like this. These probably go over the shocks. And I got a cool trick to keep them on there. I'll show you what that is during the build process. So I hope you guys stick around. This plane is going to be a neat build. I don't expect it to be like super crazy and take a really long time. Some planes that I build, I just finished a custom build plane. That one took me like 6 months. So that video is coming up soon too. But we're here talking Anushka today. Anyway, I like this. I like the color change in the rudder. Some green. Little bit of the loose covering right there on the trim. Again, small details. Not Robart, I know, but Robart style hinges. We're going to use Gorilla Glue on them bad boys, and I'm going to show you some tricks with those to get them in there. So that way they sit right and everything lines up. You know, well covered. I like the contrast. Carbon rods. Carbon, anybody? Carbon. Okay, not a whole lot to say other than carbon rods. If you guys are good with that, I'm good with that. Ooh, what do we got here? Oh, this is the good stuff. This is the good stuff. Not the bag of... Not the bag of tricks here. We'll look at what that is in a minute. But I know what's in here. This is going to be... Bum, bum, bum. This is our cowling foam. Cardboard for recycling. Or if you live out in the sticks, we burn it. It's recycling. Alright, so we got... ooh, look at those. Alright, I was going to talk about the dummy engine. Let's not do that just yet. Something else caught my eye. I'm intrigued. Yeah, buddy. So, maybe a weird place to put these, but I guess it works when you're trying to save in packing. Check this out. This is madness. Look at the size of them bad boys. And they're light. They're solid. And they got ball bearings. What do you think of that? That's cool. Nice colored plate on there. The blue doesn't match. But this would be the trim on the side of the fuse. Doesn't match the wings, but it matches the trim. So we can work with that. Those are cool tires. We like tires. Let's see what we got here in this dummy radial engine. So laser cut ply. And they just, it's simple. Could have done maybe a better job of painting because this thing's going to be positioned somewhere, and as you look in the inside you can still see some unpainted wood. We're going to give them a C+ for the dummy radial, but it's light, it doesn't weigh much, but they got the push rod, so if you want to do a little customization and coloring, I think you can do that with that thing. But let's take a look at this cowl. I don't know how the EME60 is going to fit in here yet. It's close to the DA50 size. We want a good, powerful engine. I hate lazy power systems. So keep that in mind. If, you know, and you got a biplane, we're going to have flying wires. You're going to have some drag. You need decent power. The EME60 with the auto start is the cat's meow. I know a DA50 is going to have more power, but listen, when it comes down to it, I like hitting that button. That thing fires right up in my zero. So, I hope this thing fits in here without a lot of cutting, and I have it sitting right behind me on the bench, so maybe we'll just see right out of the gate. But I love the baby blue color, and look at the match. The match is pretty spot on. I've had prior planes where the paint on the plastic doesn't come close to matching the covering, guys. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. And it looks like we also have a mold line down each side. I could tell you why that's helpful. If you're a guy that likes to cut cowls, you now have a nice straight line to follow. And you could split the cowling. But that's cool. So face-wise, I'll give you an idea how big it is. Size matters. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. You can still see some of that unpainted wood, but it's a nice fit in there if you guys can see that. It's clean. This is, I'll be honest, it's probably one of the nicer built cowls that I've seen. There's not a lot of garbage on the inside of build-up material. It's light. It's just like it was just done right. So I like it. You can see some sand marks in the sides here that they painted over, but again, am I making this stuff? No. Could I have made it as this nice? No. So that's what I look at. Yeah, that engine fits in there. Fits in there great. All right. Are you guys interested? Let's throw the EME60. Let's drag it out. EME60 with auto start. Ticka 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 boom, fires right up. Every time. 2 years now. CM6. Gaskets. Engine. The goal is not to drop this on the wings. Let's see what this fits like. So, we want to know where center is, right? Let's just drop this in there. And now we'll get an idea, using this, how much of this I'm going to need to hack away. All right, guys, so here's what I'm thinking. So with this engine, you're going to get about that much sticking out of this thing. For that to happen, I think we have two options. We're going to have to get creative to cut this out and still keep that nice vent, or cut it out, enlarging that hole, and then just let the air passing over this kind of come through the scoop yet and shoot out. So as we get close, we're going to have to do something with that. And then we're also going to have to do something with this ring and the auto start, because even with that gear all the way up against, I can't come through the front of this thing. So I might have to enlarge the back of this, which may create some issues. But this is what it's like when you decide to go through some growing pains. So we're going to do that first, and then let you guys make a decision if that's something you're up for. All right, guys, we're running out of pieces. Let's get to the last of it. Next package. Top wings. All right, again, so my thoughts are very well packaged. You know, it's not flopping all over the place. Let's make this easier. Let's get rid of the big box. All right, time to check out the last of the Antonov An-2, the Anushka. I like different. I wonder why. You know when your parents told you we're all different in our own way? They were prepping me. That's what that was. They're like, this kid's weird. We got to give him something to work with in life. All right, wings are out. Let's get the last of these maybe center wing sections. Again, really well taped. Nothing comes out easy, so definitely in there for the long haul. All right, so some neat stuff coming. What do you say we start with the wings? All right, so initial thoughts, top wings. Top wings have more weight to them. There's definitely more weight here, and I would assume that's because of the flappity flap, don't flap back. Flaps, row-barred hinges. Gonna be able to get some throw there, I think so, yeah. Ailerons, big ailerons for a big plane, so it's a biplane with single ailerons. They better be big, and they go all the way out to the outer edge of the wing from root to tip. So again, really well covered. We can see that this one wing rib right here sits higher than the trailing edge. They could have done there a better job sanding that one, but the rest of them are all spot on. It's just the little things, right? Just those little things. Really well covered. They got string in there. Super sturdy main wing ribs. Everything you could tell is ply interlocking. Servo bays feel stout. So good quality. I like it. Let's look at the other one. Yeah, much better across on this one. That ain't sticking up there. This one I'm going to call perfect. Looks good. Yeah, I really like it. Guys, I've done a lot of balsa planes lately, and this may be the best covered one yet. It really is. I don't think that this thing's going to wrinkle at all once we get it outside. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm not, because we're about coming into the end of spring here, summer. I'm going to take this thing out, and I'm not going to iron that down. I want to see what that covering does. The last couple ones I've done of balsa planes, the sun's kind of wrinkled them up a little bit. Let's see what those do. So we're going to put it to the test. And the nice part is you're going to see all these videos all at the same time. So if you want to go check the build and the maiden, they're all out right now. You don't have to wait. Normally I do things in stages and release them, but not this one, because this one is a new release. I'm super excited. So this is not something that's been out. So this is different. This is different. So this must be the center section joiner for the top wings. It's different. So look at this. This is interesting. So they got the hole here. They chose not to use a wing tube. They are using 3 carbon rods to support it like a triangle around that balsa. And this is still ply, but it's different colored, maybe from sanding it so much, but got a little bit of smear here in the paint where it looks like they might have gotten overspray on it and cleaned it, but didn't clean it enough. So this is one of those things. I'll clean it up with some glass cleaner and see if it bothers me, and if it does, we can just take that off with some lacquer thinner and just shoot clear right over the top. You wouldn't even know it's there. So this piece has a plastic or fiberglass top to it, this whole center section. This one's a little different. We'll see what, the jury's not out on that one yet. Overall, though, still very impressed with what I see. I like the size, I like the colors. And we are taking our time here with the unboxing just because there's so much to talk about. And with Maxford, if you guys have bought any of the other Maxford planes, they got some really neat stuff. They got a PT-17, they got a Jeti, they have some other Goliath, I think it's called. It's a World War I plane, very weird looking, but I don't have any of those, so this is my first Maxford, and I want to critique it. So this looks like just a plain ply cover. It's kind of got some bends in it, but it's well covered, and when you put all the screws in it, it's going to pull that flat anyway. So here is the vertical, just a plain scheme, plain white. So if you guys don't know, white and that baby blue, they look great together. So there you go for the rudder. That's going to look like. That's going to be neat. This thing's just going to get glued down into place. We're going to use our self-leveling laser when we do all of this stuff. So and then we'll get our horizontals to fit right in here. So let's take a look at what those would look like. It's going to look really cool. I've had quite a few planes. I don't know if you could see the tail up there. That was my grandfather's scratch-built plane. So same color, almost identical, but that fits really nice there. Look at what that looks like. I like it. Give you an idea for the size. Those are massive elevators. They're just massive. This plane should be a hoot to fly. But so yeah, so that wraps up, guys, what we got in the box. We got one little bag left. Let's put this back. There. All right, so let's take a look at the bag. All right, guys, last part. Let's open up our bag of pieces and see what we have in the hardware. And then normally all this stuff goes right in the magnet tray that we have flying around over there, and that's where I keep all my hardware during the build. So this is Not really broken. This is just a pop-out laser cut, but it looks like... So this is going to be different. I've never dealt with these before. I can't say that I've seen them before. So these are balsa ply. They're very thick. They're tough feeling. All right, I get it now. So all of your control horns, they're fiberglass or carbon. They look like fiberglass. That's what these are. So these are all your control horns. They're already done for you. These are aesthetic wing pieces. Here, these aren't even control horns. So that answers that question. All right, so guys, all of these wooden pieces, these are for aesthetic purposes. These are actually not control horns. These fiberglass pieces, these are all your control horns. Let's not mix those up. Got some really nice pull-pull cables and turnbuckles, but they're probably for flying wires if I had to guess. The rudder is probably pull-pull on this. Yep, and that's probably in this linkage bag. And they separate these control horns, so let's not mix these up yet. So here is, this one almost looks like a sandwich of carbon fiber for the rudder. And then we have some nice turnbuckles and clevises with lock nuts. I like that. So they seem pretty durable, but they're already done. Like they're not missing things. So that's cool. And then we got more flying wire in the inside of there for the rudder pull. So the other ones must be for the flying wires. And then we have another baggie with linkage in it. And these are smaller linkages, maybe for the elevators. So, and then look what we got here. This is cool. They gave us triangle balsa. They gave us blocks. All of our reinforcement pieces. And then we got aluminum brackets. So awesome. I like the hardware kit. The hardware kit is nice. You know what I don't see? Screws of any kind. All the hardware is already pre-installed. So they put the screws. That was a cool idea. That's a really cool idea. Now you're not trying to figure out where stuff goes. So look, right? All those hardware pieces already installed. Just notice this. All those hardware pieces already installed. All of your hardware for this plane is already pre-placed where it goes. That's a time savings. That makes it easier to build. That prevents mix-ups. That's really cool. We do have one bag of screws that has these little carbon pieces in it. Probably to attach the cabanes, but or for the flying wires, but they're all together. So that means they stay with that and they can't put them in anything else yet. The hardware package on this, guys, Maxford, you get an A+. Nice job. I like that. Brilliant. Well done. Cool. So, there you have it. That's the unboxing of the Antonov An-2 50cc 102-inch wingspan from Maxford USA over at GatorRc.com. So, let's go ahead. Oh, link down in the description below. I ever tell you that? All right. So anyway, let's lay all this stuff out on the bench. We'll do a once-over of everything. And as soon as we do the once-over, guys, we're getting to building. My favorite part. All right, guys, I promised to lay it out on the bench. I tried. I got as much on there as I could. We had to use the airplane stand for that gorgeous fuselage. So anyway, the Antonov An-2 50cc 102-inch wingspan plane. This is a Maxford USA model available over at Gator Rc. All right, guys, and that wrapped up this section of the Maxford USA Antonov An-2. Again, 50cc biplane, 102-inch wingspan. You can find this and many other Maxford USA models over at www.gator-rc.com. Link down in the description below. Gator also carries, besides Maxford, some top RC models, Seagulls models, and many others. So check check them out, see if something fits your need or desire. With that being said, it's Brendan here at Just Plain Crazy. You guys are just plain crazy for always hanging out and watching. I appreciate every one of you. Do me a favor, if you liked what you saw, hit that thumbs up button. If you're going to hit that thumbs down, do that baby twice for me. Like, share, subscribe, all that cool shameless plug stuff. Those likes really help out the channel a lot. Don't forget to check us out over on the official Facebook and Instagram Just Plain Crazy pages. With that being said, I wish you guys happy flights. Peace out.